Welcome back to Love Boat Project. This is season 1, episode 7. 7. This is my co-host.
That gimmick is going to end pretty fast.
Why? I keep looking at the big number of 263, and I'm just like, 7?
Yeah, but what are we?
8?
Like, what's the percentage? We're like
4%, 3.68, something like that.
That's probably not right at all.
No. It's all
if
right.
only there was a way you could figure it out.
Yeah, with counting.
Yep.
We get our abacus. Well, welcome back. This is episode 7. We are here to talk about an episode of the Love Boat called Julie's Old Flame, the Jinx, the Identical Problem. Original air date, November 10th, 1977. I'm getting a little ahead of myself. Welcome aboard, Mike. I got a little excited about this one.
Well, I'm glad you stopped yourself because I was going to make a comment. Least inspired titles we've had.
It's zero creativity on this one.
Yeah, like
no
it's
think
twins.
tank.
Like, I don't know. Like, you don't have to be great, but give me one title that's like
you have to read a little into.
Either determine what it is, or give me a little nuance with it. It was
especially Julie's Old Flame.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
come on.
The Jinx.
Right. Identical problem.
Something interesting right off the bat. I don't know if you knew this about this episode. This is a very special episode. It moved to Thursday night.
Yes.
For this on November 10th. I thought that was interesting. I tried to find why.
I found out why.
Why?
Well, I think I found out why. Because this episode, as we will discuss, was just weird. It just felt weird.
Super weird.
There was a vibe to it that just felt like something was going on. And so it does make sense. Also in November, I don't know if sweeps still were a thing back then, but November sweeps. So maybe you throw in a fun episode, something like that.
I see. Like a lighter one on a Thursday as opposed to the,
on Saturday night, the 12th of November, which would have been the normal air date of our fair program, they were running Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Oh, wow. Was that the first time it was on TV?
Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid was because CBS, I believe, or NBC probably, was running the Godfather saga over 4 nights.
Well, I wonder if these were the first times these movies were on broadcast television.
I mean, the Godfather saga, the fact that they were doing it on 4 nights on network television,
that was commercials,
an event. I don't know.
You know how long that would be with commercials?
And the thing is, I don't know if the saga, I think the saga is the 2 parts put together, but chronologically, I think.
Really? It's all because then the De Niro's in the past, but
De Niro actually starts the movie, basically. Yeah.
So you're basically 2 before 1, essentially.
Right. So I don't know if that's what that is. I know there's a version of that that exists. When I worked at a video store, we had it, and it was in this giant box. Godfather saga or something like that. But anyway, that's what was on. Interestingly enough, next week it goes back to Saturday. So it was a one-off.
I mean, you're bringing out a heavy hitter if you're getting Butch Cassidy out there.
Yeah, I mean, these are big movies.
Well, you don't want to waste a quality episode of television like this going against The Godfather. No one's going to see it. That's the biggest crime.
Based on the thin roster,
the thinnest of guest stars,
premises for this week, it almost feels like they were like, yeah, you're not going to have an episode this week. And then they're like, or you could shoot one in 20 minutes.
The quickest episode. Yeah, it was just one day in and out. They were done. Yep. Well, what was on? It was 9:00 Thursday night on ABC, going up against Hawaii 5-0, which I don't know to be true, but I would imagine that was a pretty good ratings getter in the day. And then we love these movies. Well, actually, no, this is not a movie. I apologize. This is a show, and I had to do a little digging. NBC had a show on called James at 15. What is that show about? I'm glad you asked me what that show's about. First of all, it's a drama. Okay, not a dramedy, drama. The son of a college professor who moved his family across the country from Oregon to Boston, and he has a hard time adjusting. That's James at 15. 9:00 on NBC.
That's it?
That's it.
Oh,
That's
so
it.
it's like
This
he's
is like
just like
episode
Oregon
3.
Trail kid, and he goes into the hard scrabble of
Yeah, you
Boston.
don't need like, yeah,
Like,
I don't
like
need, I don't even know where to park my car. Like
yeah,
that
like
kind of thing.
in the first episode commercial, there's a scene like somebody knocks a school book out of his hands and is like, "Go back to Oregon, go back to Oregon."
And
Like
he's
it's
just
one of those.
screaming. He's like, "Where's the rain? Like, where is the rain?" He's just
Right.
always wearing a
Like, I
raincoat.
miss
Doesn't
Bill
fit in.
Walton.
The happiest man alive.
Yeah.
Great documentary. I've been enjoying that. Our beloved Philadelphia Flyers lost to Buffalo 3-2.
Oh,
It's all
low
right.
scoring.
Plenty of championships to come.
Absolutely. And how about them moving to catch up to the Love Boat? The Flyers love playing opposite the Love Boat, no matter
It's
what night it's
just
on.
it's the best imaginable doubleheader. I would think
Oh,
for
absolutely.
November. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cold. You're on the
It is.
boat.
It's cold. You're on a boat, or you're inside. There's ice. Either way, it's climate controlled.
You just flip in
Most of it.
between, Ray Bolger and Gilbert.
I got to tell you, man.
Dion. I don't even know who was on the.
I'm glad that you brought up Ray Bolger. So let's get into the guest stars. Just like you said, very thin. There were only 4. Yeah,
which is definitely our lowest
I-
of the run so far. We had 7 last week.
Well, the cup, yeah.
But the amazing thing is, not only do we only have 4 guest stars listed,
Mm-hmm.
I think there's one other speaking role, and it's literally, I think it's the waiter who says, like,
Vince?
"Here's your dinner."
Was it the same guy waiter who also played Vince, the guy that fell down the stairs with the postcard?
It was not. R.I.P. Vince. It was. I don't
they
think
were trying to save money.
No.
So our 4 guest stars, I'm going to save the worst for last. Just going to get right to that so you'll know where this is going. First one is Diana Canova. She played the twins, which, boy, they loved those twin gimmicks back then.
And, technology had not caught up to having twins.
No, no. Best known for a role on the show Soap from 77 to 80. Also, former member of the Church of Scientology, an organization she has since criticized. Next on our star-studded guest list, we have David Hedison. Now, here's interesting. David Hedison. He was billed as Al Hedison when he starred in The Fly. He was the star of The Fly, the first Fly movie.
He was the Jeff Goldblum?
Yeah, he was the Fly.
The titular Fly?
Yeah, he was he was the Fly. NBC insisted that he change his first name to David. Just thought that was interesting. He played a CIA agent, Felix Leiter, in 2 different James Bond films, and he's been on a million different TV shows. I mean, a million different TV shows. Just like that. They were all 70s guys.
Spoiler, I hate this guy.
Oh, I don't even like. Do you know how to act, sir? You're just an a-hole. Like, it just don't.
Yeah, not even subtle.
Hey, baby.
Listen, we know your name's Al.
Like, he's just muttering. He just mutters the whole time. Just a real.
Julie never would have fell in love with a guy like that.
Julie, you can do better than this guy.
100%.
Come on. Julie's selling herself short, man. She's falling for the, over 60 tour guide, and then this whole thing. And number one, it's just unprofessional doing it. Everything's at work. Like,
this was
life is at work.
This was not a good boat for like 597 of the passengers, because
it would just be awkward for the passengers.
The crew was very tied up in like 4 people on this boat. So
yeah, that's funny. Next is Harriet Nelson. Again, Ozzy and Harriet, big deal. Been in a million TV shows. Mother of Ricky Nelson. There's an interesting quote I read about her from the director of the documentary about Ozzy and Harriet. It says she was a bombshell. She liked a good off-color joke. She enjoyed her cocktails at night. She had the talent to go on and be a big star, but she made that decision to be Ozzy's wife. I'm like, well, when I read it out loud, it doesn't sound good, like that last part. I don't know what.
No, she was fun and talented, but don't go to work.
She was saying, like, hey, Ozzy was like her straitjacket, basically. Like,
Where's Ozzy at this point?
yeah,
Is he
wasn't on the
RIP?
Love Boat last time I checked.
Yeah, that's
I
what
don't
I'm
know.
saying. How did Ray Bolger get
Yeah,
the
how does
nod?
Horace McDonald think about it? And finally, Ray Bolger.
Amazing.
What is
No?
no. Every scene, Ray Bolger's got to like outact everybody. You know, I'm the
Oh, I'm sorry.
Scarecrow.
The guy who played the Scarecrow was a bit
Fuck
of an
that guy.
overactor.
But
Who
let me
saw
say
that
this.
coming?
Listen, the only other note I had interesting was Bolger's face was permanently lined by wearing the Scarecrow makeup. And initially he was hired to be the Tin Man, but then that whole thing happened and he became the
Well, the
Scarecrow.
Tin Man apparently was just like they were just painting asbestos on your face. So
yeah. They were like,
it's old Buddy Ebsen.
Yeah, it's just not a good. So
Right, well, we're gonna have a
it was
major
too much.
we're gonna have a major disagreement here because
right.
I thought he was great.
Just
was,
Captain.
Oh yeah, he was Ray Bolger and all over the place.
He even said "do" weird when he did the redo. I did like everything's got to be okay.
He doesn't have a brain.
Oscar Ray Bolger. Just. I wish his feet were lined with straw. He was just falling down all the time. I just can't stand it. Anything else to discuss before we get into the episode itself?
No, I think, like I said, the most interesting thing was the thin actor. It's like a SAG strike.
It is weird.
Like normally we always have a couple characters who don't make the main list, but we always talk about them. There's always like a crew member or something like that. There was nobody. Like,
and no credits given.
A lot of group scenes.
Yeah,
nobody got something. You know. So.
I will say from this, and maybe it's as obviously as a result of not a lot of guest stars. I liked the amount of crew interaction. I guess I can say.
Oh, this was a crew show.
Yeah, like I kind of liked the interaction. Maybe I didn't like what they were interacting about.
Yeah.
But I like to see them all interacting that way.
I mean, I think this is definitely the most crew heavy since the first one.
Absolutely. But
as far as everybody being on, there's usually one person who gets nothing. So
I will say that from episode 1 to where we are now, I still think that like the captain now is a completely different character from episode 1. I still think they haven't righted that ship yet.
I think, but I will say, I think this was his best effort in terms of
not looking like a buffoon kind of thing.
Well, till the end, but yeah, like he was more captainly. We'll get to it, but I thought Steubing. You can't come at Steubing this week. I don't think, but you came at Ray Bolger, so you're a wild card.
I got to come at somebody.
Yeah,
I do want to say one thing before we get into this, and it's been bugging me, and I see it in this episode too. And I apologize. This is probably stupid, but whatever. There are rules in the military with hats. Okay, now I see Captain Steubing wearing his hat inside all the time.
Yeah,
that you don't. So basically, the rule is in the military when you have a hat, if you're outside, you are not what's called undercover. So I could be outside in like a carport, and I don't have to put like a hat or headgear on. But I don't understand the rules that Steubing lives by unless he's by his own hat code. Because every time I see him with the hat, he's inside.
It's inconsistent.
It is inconsistent.
Yeah. Now, he isn't necessarily a military man, right? He works for a private boat company.
I just think if you're
Captain Ron.
I don't know. I mean, if you're a nautical captain, maybe not a Navy captain, I would assume, remember he was talking about uniform standards in the one episode to Gopher. I would assume that there's some sort of like standard uniform.
Like, you know, in about 3 seasons, his old drill instructor is going to show up or something like that. I guarantee you he is military, but he doesn't necessarily have to be, right?
No, I wouldn't. I would assume so, but yeah. But the other thing is, if he had a thick head of hair, he wouldn't be wearing that hat like he's wearing that hat. And as a follically challenged man myself, I don't realize that the hat is a crutch, but a lot of people
as much as he has not.
That's what I'm wondering. Is it just like that's just kind of his? Because then I was like, why wouldn't this guy? And I thought about this tonight when I was watching it. I'm like, why wouldn't he get a hairpiece?
Well, that's probably because of the hat and those high winds.
See, I thought about the wins. I didn't think about the hat, which I really should have thought about. But I mean,
Yeah.
even like as an actor in this time period, he was on Mary Tyler Moore. He was this big. I don't know. I mean, hairpieces were big back then.
And this is an episode where I think ages of all the actors is very important based on what's going on.
Absolutely.
And he's only like 47 years old.
Just an
So
old, by the way.
if you're gonna have a rug, I could see him having it at least at the start of Mary Tyler Moore, because God, is he in his 30s when he's on TV
He's
bald?
gotta
Like
be.
that's a
He's
tough
gotta
break.
be. He's gotta be.
He made the most of it.
He did. He did. It was interesting. I thought I would bring it up because past couple episodes, it just kind of got me.
Yeah.
All right, let's kick this thing off. We open with a scene that was a little strange. Doc hanging all over Julie.
Yep. Right away.
And again, aren't we at work here?
Yeah.
That's the first thing that people are going to see.
This episode comes in horny immediately.
It never stops. It never stops.
Yeah.
Like
it's like, did they go to like the ecstasy island? Like
what is
it's
this?
Just like everybody is just ready to go.
Like it's the Lust Boat special on Thursday night, because it was really so he's all over, hanging over, and I'm just like, it's just confusing because it's like,
and people are
really
boarding. Like this is Julie's time to shine, and
That's
this
her
is the
job.
first impression you get as a passenger on the boat is the doctor just groping the cruise director.
Right. You're gonna be like, who's that creepy ass guy in that uniform?
Right.
Oh, that's Adam Bricker.
Right. He's the guy who's going to check me out later.
Like, yeah, he's the one who's going to put me in a wheelchair with a sprained knee and give me the worst sling I've ever seen in my life. I guess he sees someone coming, checking in the boat. Doc makes his move. She has zero interest. Doc is shut down. But to your point you said earlier about age, I think that happens right here. And when I say that, at this time, at this year, Bernie Koppel was 44 years old.
Which was a hard truth for me to look up, that he is younger than I currently am in this episode.
That was rough for me too.
It's just hard to... It's not even that he looks old necessarily, but it's
different.
That doesn't look like 44 to me.
But I don't think 44 and 77 was not
44 to me.
Wow. I was going to say, other you're pointing at me and I got excited. I'm like, this is
pointing at me.
Yeah, it's pointing at me. I got 49. So she, at the time in real life, was 24. And I was just like, how the hell?
Much.
There's no way that that he would even take a swing in it.
They're twins, so she's really 48.
So that's dirty.
Yeah.
Also, Bernie Capel. I texted you about this the other day, and you were like, "Nope, he is still alive, Mike. He is 90 years old, and he is still alive."
He popped up in the Lincoln Lawyer.
Yeah, I saw that in his filmography.
Yeah, so he's still working. Good for him.
There's potential to have him on this show. That's all I'm saying.
Say about Bernie Capel and Doc, because it is, for the most part, a pretty creepy role. But
super creepy.
He is growing on me in terms of he's got a lot of range. He's got a lot of old school comedic timing. I don't know that he can carry a whole episode, but he's a really good second guy.
Oh, absolutely.
So good for him, and I think he's been really good in two of the last three episodes. He didn't really get much last week.
I think he's been consistent too, from a character point of view, which I kind of like. So that was that whole. She's 24. That whole thing. He's just so aggressive, man.
Right, and it's right away too. Like everybody on this boat, everybody that works on this boat is like just immediately in love with it. It's like I worked at Wawa for a bunch of years, right? I didn't like get all riled up at every seventh customer that came to the register. It's like these guys are just, and the boat hasn't even left yet.
See, that's the difference. I worked at Quick Check, right, in Jersey. Every seventh one, I would get excited about. I'm just going to be honest. I would attack them like Doc would with a freshly made sub, with freshly made cold cuts. But it's so aggressive, man. It's so like borderline Criminal.
So
Yeah.
when I never really got their first name. So the glasses twin, the one with the glasses.
Helen or Ellen?
Oh, really? That was the
Yeah.
name?
Yeah.
Oh, that's stupid.
Yeah. I didn't want to. Yeah, Helen and Ellen.
So I just have them in my notes as glasses and not glasses. So glasses gets on the boat and she goes to
Glasses
Julie
gets on the boat.
and she says she only gives her last name, Miss Edwards.
I didn't catch that.
That's it. So this really would have been a big topic for me because again, it's the frustration of how do you get on this boat? Except in a few minutes, we finally got a shot of the passenger list, and details are very limited.
Yeah, very limited. Oh, last name, first name, middle initial.
We'll get to it. Because I jotted all this stuff down.
Oh,
so we have it forever.
Thank you. You. Elderly couple named Horace and Henrietta McDonald check in with Gopher. They say they were married on the Titanic.
Which is like, okay, cool story, bro. I get it. Like, I would probably bring it up a lot. I don't think I'd be getting back on a boat, but even if I did.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Why would you? That's the last boat you went on, and now you're going to go on another one?
But, like, I don't want to hear that, you survived a bunch of plane crashes when you sit down and coach.
No. Yeah. Somebody sitting next to me, in the lounge before I get on a train going. I could hear the screams in the last train wreck. Like, what? No, so much.
And then it's not like you were on a boat crash. You were on the boat crash.
Well, it's also, I thought it was I don't follow the logic that if you survive, if you're a survivor, how is that a jinx? Wouldn't that be a good luck? Or is it just bad luck? Is the jinx that they're going to live no matter what?
Well, and I guess the other thought is, in theory, right, the crew members would die in a boat crash. Like you would go down with the ship.
Fair enough. Well,
so it's boat legend for among crew, maybe.
You think Stubing's going down with the ship?
No. If something happens in the dining room, he might be in trouble. But
yeah, I don't think he would unless he can wear a short jacket and he's at some dinner table.
So, even though I disagree with your assessment of Ray
Fair
Bolger,
enough.
I think this is where I first realized that he's kind of playing the devil.
He's always laughing.
There's trouble happening everywhere. He's got that little sneer.
He's always smiling the whole episode.
Right. And it's always like this mischievous, oh my. Like it's just like, so I think maybe he's the devil.
I don't think he's the devil. I think what he's trying to do is upstage everybody that shares the screen with him. I'm Ray Bolger. I'm the Scarecrow, damn it. They just rubbed me the wrong way.
So we talked about this a couple times, and I think we kind of landed on like Milton Berle or maybe Stars of the Day.
Okay.
But in terms of in 1977, and probably to this day, although you would be a better one to answer this, do kids still watch The Wizard of Oz?
No.
Everybody has seen Ray Bolger, right? Everybody from like 1940 to 2010. I don't know if people still watch Wizard of Oz.
Well, I think the key is
Ray Bolger act. Like that's a big deal.
But I think the only thing with him is the character he played was bigger than the actor he was, in the sense that like people know the Scarecrow, but I think the thing that irritated me was I felt like what he was trying to do was give us a little Scarecrow in every scene, like a little bit, just to kind of like tap into that. And I think for me, what I like about the Love Boat is that people playing sort of off character, off brand. And I felt like he was just he was just the Scarecrow married to a lady that got married in the Titanic and they somehow survived. It just.
So it's not, here's a little fire Scarecrow. It's here's a little Scarecrow.
Here's a little Scarecrow.
Everybody.
Everyone. Yeah. Handle it. So it was almost distracting to me. And maybe I might be a lunatic. Because
I actually kind of enjoyed when like a little Scarecrow would pop up, and it increased as the episode went on. Really,
he knows what he's doing. I mean, even JJ didn't say dynamite. I mean, come on, man. You can't go full Scarecrow. I think somebody once said.
You are right. It would have been funny in the last scene of just a little tuft of
just a little straw, like in his trail walking by. Like falling out of his pant leg. Or like Toto runs across at the very end and he just looks at the camera and then it just
right. Or if he had done that, like, one of those or something like that.
or that one of those pratfalls.
Right.
Yeah. Where are we? Are we on glasses or no glasses?
They haven't even killed.
They
haven't even killed poor Gopher yet, have they?
No, they haven't.
No.
Okay, so they're checking in and they ask for help getting a brochure. And Gopher, like the
devil.
Wouldn't you think wouldn't you think that if I'm Gopher, you're kind of always on the lookout for luggage on the ground because people are checking in? Like he was so oblivious to luggage that he just it was the worst. It was the most non-believable fall I've ever seen.
Yeah, and I mean the whole episode, except for one thing, is either klutziness or workplace malpractice. And I'm sorry, like it's not like he built up a head of steam. The bag's behind him. He turns around.
He fell on bags.
Like, you don't have a fall, dude. Like,
what are you? You don't drink milk? Come on.
Yeah. Go first.
What are you doing? Yeah, what are you, Mr. Glass? What's going on there?
It was a weak premise that they just built upon. But yeah, they could have done a little bit more. Like, why didn't he get the Vince fall?
I don't think Gopher's taking that fall. I think Vince is a trained professional, Mike. I think that's what we all know that.
Lines.
Yeah. They showed him fall all the way down all those stairs too.
Yep.
Like I was like,
they paid him for 17 steps. They
got their money's worth on that stunt man. So he falls over the luggage. Blah blah blah. All right, we're back to Doc now. We're back, and I believe we're still okay. Now we're on non-glasses. Okay, this is Ellen. Yes. He's looking at her and tells her he'd like to escort her to her cabin, and she perks up and says she'd be delighted. She just met this guy. Now, and again, I've never been on a cruise, but that's just single people go on cruises looking to just like the first staff member they see
in a later scene. But basically, the twins are, one of them's looking for a tan and one of them's looking for a man.
That's right.
But she literally meant like a man, like any man, like the first man. This is the first guy she saw on the boat.
So she just wants. I mean, I want to make sure that I'm not being crude in saying what I want to say. Like she's just looking, like fornication, basically. I think I can say that word.
But it's not. Yes,
well, then it escalates.
She sticks with Doc the whole time. It's not like she goes around with other guys. So she literally head over heels, love first sight.
Well, 20 minutes at a time. It's a lot easier.
Well, yeah.
That stupid watch. Captain, he ambles over, hat on, by the way, hat on, indoors. Ambles over to wish them all a good morning, just as Julie spots a handsome male passenger, and she's out. He turns to mush, just like she did with that over 60s tour group.
I mean, runs out like
the most dramatic.
Like the person she murdered came back to life on the boat.
What do you suppose? Yeah, what would you think? I mean, she's like full sprint. Go for cover for me. And Gopher's great because he's just like, sure. But well, wouldn't somebody kind of follow her room to go, hey, what the hell's wrong with you? What was that about? Because you know what? You're at work.
That's the thing. So this is now 7 episodes, and we are big Julie fans. It is documented on this podcast.
Yeah.
That's 2 episodes now that she has completely neglected her duties at the beginning of the trip, which feels like one of her biggest duties.
It might be the biggest. Getting people on the boat.
You're at work.
I think her biggest, she's got self-esteem issues. Like, you need to, come on, Julie McCoy.
Well, this guy.
He's so creepy, man.
Did a number on her mentally, I think. Because Buddy Stanfield, who can go to hell as far as I'm concerned.
Buddy, he can go to hell. Not you and our friend Buddy, but other Buddy, new Buddy.
Yeah.
Stinks, sir. Yeah, it was just odd. Poor Julie. That's all I have to say is poor Julie. And if you want to really be sad, look at a cast picture for season 10. That's all I'm going to say. I was looking at memorabilia and I was just like, we'll save that. What is that?
Nope.
We got a few hundred episodes. We got about 180 episodes till we get there. Stay tuned. We'll get there. Yeah. Okay, so they're in the room. Ellen and Helen are in the room now, and they're explaining, the whole, half the room is one, half the room is the other. They say that line that you said, looking for a man, you're looking for a tan, and instantly what popped in my head was Patty Duke was a guest on the last show,
Last
and
week. Yep.
yeah, and this was like the storyline that Patty Duke could never do.
Right.
Like she couldn't have like her slut identical cousin and her go on a ship.
Yeah.
It's just funny how it missed by one.
Right. It's almost like they come up with these and it's like, Patty Duke, do you want to do this too? No, I'm not.
It's like,
I'm not
God,
gonna go
no,
here.
I don't want to do that. Who wants to be a Jinx? And stupid Scarecrow is like, I do. I only had a stupid. Damn it. Okay, this is about the passenger list now, and I am very excited to hear what you've learned about this passenger list, because this is the point she's looking at the passenger list for Buddy Stanfield.
And I don't know to start. She comes off the elevator, and I don't know that it's a new set. I think it's just a different angle of the stairwell.
Yeah,
room.
same elevator, just like half twisted. Yeah,
but it basically is just her and Gopher in this area. So you assume everybody just checked in, time to relax.
Maybe
Julie shows up, doesn't apologize or mention, oh, sorry that I freaked out.
I thought that was weird too. It was just like life. She must freak out like that all the time if it's not a big deal.
Asks Gopher if he's okay. He starts to talk. Julie doesn't care. She's not listening.
Give two craps about Gopher's problems.
Grabs the clipboard, and finally, after all these episodes, we can finally see what they've been looking at these clipboards. Because as we've said many times, checking in passengers in 1977 without a computer or the
nonsensical,
internet seems impossible. So here is what is on the list.
Oh, this is going to be great.
So it starts with sequential number of passengers. So the screenshot that we saw
1
was
to 2,
445, 546.
Okay. Oh, so 446 is passenger number 446, like number.
It's alphabetical. So I don't know if that's just for reference for them, but that's the first column.
Okay.
Second column is last name, alphabetical.
Okay.
Third column is your kind of prefix, Mr., Mrs., Miss.
Sure.
They didn't have any medical professionals on this boat or
That's how Juan Epstein was finding all the ladies in the last episode.
That's true. All the misses.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Next, and this is really where it gets a little dicey. First initial. So they don't even take first name. They just take first initial. So you could literally say, I'm Mr. Smith.
Well, you could show someone a license, and just because your name starts with that same letter doesn't mean that's you.
Yeah, it's just like, why not have that second layer of authenticity?
Well, what if I was Marcus Robertson, and you went to check into a ship as M? I mean, it's the same thing.
A or B? No idea. No idea what A or B is. The only thing I can think is
smoking or non-smoking,
or like one bed, two bed,
or double room, single room.
Maybe
because they had to switch, or the size of the room.
That's possible. Then they have room number.
Okay.
And there's all sorts of different combinations. There's like an A117 and a D128.
Somebody just made that up. Yeah.
And then the port is the last thing, and that's cut off at the end. Most of them are so that's obviously Los Angeles. And then there was one that started with MAZ, so that might have been our friends at Maz's Plan from a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, that's from Maz's Plan.
But that's your list. So every time they look down, that's what they got.
That's all they're looking at?
Doesn't necessarily solve any of our problems in terms of how stupid it is, but they don't ask for much because they don't have much on the list.
Well, I just thought about the last episode when Danny and his friends boarded the ship, and Julie's like, "Oh, hey, blah 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 blah." I'm like, wait a minute. Number one, how do you know their first names if you only have a single initial for the first? They take a lot of liberties with this list. Like the amount of knowledge that they gain from this list is not very consistent.
And this has to be the main list. I can't imagine there's another list.
It's not like it's on a computer.
Right.
I'm surprised it's even printed out.
Yeah, I'm surprised it's not handwritten.
So somebody typed it out?
Yeah. Ooh. And how did you alphabetize back then? Did you have to alphabetize it and then type it out?
Every time. We sold another ticket. I got to start over.
Sorry, I can only sell to the Z's. So
it's funny. That was Vince's old job, and now he's going back to it because he fell down the stairs. Poor guy. Wow, I'm so good. The other thing with that scene is, did you see when he opened her wallet? When she opened her wallet and she put that picture, and it looked like a picture from like a newspaper, like she's some
Yeah,
stalker,
like a clipping.
and she even like balled it up and even balled up like a newspaper clipping. And then I'm like, Julie might be freaking nuts, man. Like,
So here's my question about that whole part.
mhm.
So first of all, that trash can completely empty. So great job, Love Boat.
I
Start
think it was a
doing like
cigarette butt
Disney.
thing because it was like the sand thing, like old school.
Yeah. So you, I've been holding a flame for this guy for
Mhm.
however long since you've been broken up. You have a picture of him in your wallet.
Black and white too,
Like you have a picture that you took from his
from
yearbook.
the 30s. Yeah.
You've had it in there the whole time, which is weird. Which it just is. I'm sorry,
I wonder
it's
if it
weird.
moves
Like
around in her wallet.
the
She
only
moves
person
it
whose
around.
picture we've seen in a wallet was Dennis
Oh, his
Kingston.
wife, how they
His
used to be.
wife died.
We were
Like that
so
makes sense.
close. Yeah.
So so you clearly have fond memories of this guy.
Sure.
He shows up,
We probably
has not
shouldn't have
said
fond
anything
memories.
to you,
Yeah.
and that causes you to take the picture that you've had in your wallet this whole time to rip
Throw it
it up.
away.
So, like, unless he told her, "I have to break up with you. I'm afraid of water." Like, I don't know what would have caused that reaction, except for unfortunately that, like you said, Joey's a little nuts when it comes to this guy.
She's super nuts. Yeah, the logic of that, I was just like, I I don't know. Well, and also like that guy knew what he was doing getting on this ship. Like, stop it. You know Julie's there. You know where she is.
That
You
guy's
know that's
never
where she
done
works.
anything accidentally.
Oh, I don't think that guy's ever done anything. Like, he won't explain everything's vague. Like, they were like, "Oh, what did you do with that pencil?" And he's like, "I took a blade and I
I hate
pushed the blade."
I
Like, "Did you
hate
sharpen a pencil?" "Well, not
hate
exactly." Oh, I
hate this
hate
guy,
him.
what he did to poor sweet Julie.
Oh, I'm with you. I'm 100% team Julie. And if I was in a Titanic situation and I had space for one more person, is it this buddy guy or is it Ray Bolger? I gotta tell you, I'm saving Ray Bolger, and I don't feel good about that.
That's big. That's a big
That's
a big
big.
decision.
That's big because when all that straw gets wet, it probably gets heavy. So I don't want that to happen to him. I like him better than this piece of garbage. Nobody pushes Julie in a corner. It's awful. Uh, we uh we now see Gopher's arm injury. So he's wearing the worst sling in the world.
Yeah. What is that? Like it looks like just a long, like fashionable scarf.
Like a sling, like a they would put on like an elephant. There's no it was huge. That's not a medical device. You could see like the
This
strings
boat
on it.
has wheelchairs out the yin yang, but they don't have a couple slings in a drawer.
I'll tell you what, they need like a medical equipment salesman on this boat just for everything you could possibly need.
Well, you know what that probably means is Doc's using those slings for something else.
Our doc probably wasn't in his office because he's trying to
Well, that's
get
true,
busy
too.
with
Yeah.
Ellen and or Helen.
Glasses, non-glasses.
But how do you give somebody a wheelchair for a knee strain? I think Gopher's injury is
And then
questionable at best.
wrap him up in a thin curtain for
Right.
for-
So stupid. So stupid. I think I was laughing so hard. Oh, so he tells Isaac he blames the McDonald's, married aboard the Titanic, because he has the belief that people survive shipwrecks are automatically jinxed. Isaac's not hearing that, man. Isaac,
No.
Which again, didn't we see it later? He stupid scarecrow orders 2 glasses of OJ and says, "Put a little vodka in mine to kill the taste." I'm like, all right, scene stealer. But then I was like, when Isaac brings the drinks back, like, what person? Again, an incident with a slippery pool deck. Remember the last episode, the woman reading, or a couple episodes, like, get off the pool deck, Isaac.
Listen, I have been in enough crowded dive bars to know that a waitress is going to ask you to move or swear at you to move. They're certainly not going to try and jump over tables to get you to move. So Isaac, instead of just asking these like 2 people that were in front of the boulders,
excuse me, that's all it would take. Excuse me, Isaac coming through.
He tries to go around, and then I don't know what happened. He didn't take a step and fall.
It wasn't a natural looking step
No.
up on that pool thing.
But then he falls in, and he falls in back, basically straight back, and he took a nice bump.
He took a
Dropped the
nice bump, I will
drinks,
say.
gets up. The drinks stayed pretty much
I
intact
kind of
until
like
he
that. I
appeared.
kind of like that they were still a little orangey,
Yeah.
too.
But then he hurts his neck, and I just don't understand.
I don't know where the neck got into it.
Because unless that pool was like 19 inches deep, like you shouldn't hurt your neck just belly flopping basically on your back.
He went like the neck wasn't even the initial like. Yeah, I didn't know. I guess they couldn't be like, well, you broke your back like that tennis player. Like, here we go again. Like, I guess
That would have been
they
a
already
real harrowing
went
episode.
to the well with that one. So they're like, well, what else do
They're
we
just
have?
we're at what, like 3 or 4 episodes in a row now with somebody going in the drink. Like,
Yeah, it's a
they're hitting
thing.
that hard.
Well, I will say if I had a little buzzer every time physical comedy happened on this episode, that buzzer would be broken. This is all Three's Company-esque physical comedy. Just
We may not have
Whew.
explained that one part of the twins storyline that we're referencing is their setup is so they can both get equal time on the boat. They have watches, and a buzzer goes off, and then the other one has to go back to the cabin, which in theory is fine, but they clearly have made no actual schedule provisions, and it's just going off at every opportune time. So,
well,
like,
the other thing.
how about
I
every
don't
other day? There you go. You know,
Well, the thing with the watch was, number one, I don't even think that watch did not possess that technology to do that. It was,
I don't think
it didn't even,
1977 possessed that technology.
it wasn't a digital, it was a little tiny, it didn't even have all the numbers. It had like 12, 3, 6, 9, one of those fancy watches. And like every time it went off, like everybody on the boat heard it. Like it was so distracting. Yeah. Like, how about tonight's my night?
Right.
Tomorrow's your day. Tomorrow, like
Or you
something.
get the day, I get the night, and then we switch or
And
something.
were they just cheap?
Yes.
Like, what was the point of all that?
Well, they were cheap because they only wanted to pay for one ticket, which again, now that's a checkbox in the column of these cruises are expensive. But they managed to bring 2 outfits.
Well,
each
that's
time.
the thing is I wonder, did they just bring one? No, because that one dress in the end, they saw them 2. Would it be smarter if they just brought, why would they bring 2?
Because they have to get back so fast that Doc is confused.
Doc's confused anyway. Like he didn't even care. He was going along with whatever happened.
Yeah, Doc 100% figured it out like a day in.
Well, yeah, he knew. Here's the other thing though, is if he was getting shot down, how many other passengers are on this boat?
596, because at some point Steubing says there's 600 passengers.
So like, what are you doing, bro? We are on the scene. Julie comes by Doc's office, to talk about the situation that made her storm off, but she closes her mouth abruptly when she sees that Captain Steubing is in the room. And then it was kind of weird. I felt like it was personal, like, oh, come in here, Julie, come in here. And like Doc like picked her up, and I'm just like,
yeah,
why do I feel gross watching this right now?
It didn't feel great. So
it didn't age well.
The part that I got a little more okay with is I would think that you would go to Doc if you were Julie in that situation, right? Doc's been around.
He's been married 4 times. He knows what's up. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So I don't think it's weird that she went to Doc, but then when Steubing's there, and you don't know if she's not wanting to talk to him because he's the captain or because he's Steubing and he's just like not going to have any good advice at all.
Busybody. See, to me, it wasn't weird that she went to Doc. I think the thing that weirded me out was when she actually got in the office. Like when she acted like, she was like, oh, I'll come back, whatever. When she came to like, oh, come in, right? So she's like, walks in. Doc picks her up.
Yeah.
And puts her on the table and stuff. And I was just like.
It was just the vibe of the whole episode. It is just,
weird, man.
Everybody is just, it like
creepy. It was a little creepy.
It's a home run orgy. Everybody is just in, except for Gopher. Everybody is just.
Well, Isaac too?
Well, but at one point, Julie eats cake off Isaac's face.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah. And he had that terrible line that I feel like was dubbed in because the sound wasn't good because he had cake on all over his mouth. So Captain insists she spills the beans. What's bothering her? And she just kind of tells the story how she met Buddy in Paris. She worked for the airline, 3-week relationship, whatever you want to call that. Followed him to LA 2 nights a week, turns out to be married. Number one, how does she not know this? You're going to move all the way to LA and you're going to be clueless? And how's this guy able to get this much time away? Julie's just either completely psychotic, love Julie, but completely psychotic, or just completely unaware. Maybe a little of both.
I think fairly, they're trying to portray her as a dumb kid, which is okay. You're right. But how old is there? Like an age limit to be a stewardess?
I mean, I would think it would be 21, just like serving alcohol. I don't know, but
I don't know. Yeah,
I would assume
we need somebody who's been on a plane. So I think if you chalk it up to indiscretion of youth, you can cover a lot of the stuff there. I don't love it.
Like this relationship happened a long time ago.
So.
Well, I mean, everyone knows her so well. There's this sort of air of familiarity. So it's like she must have been on this ship for a while, or she's an overshare that gets comfortable way too quick. There's no way of knowing. And that would feed into the whole, like, the pictures in the wallet. I moved to LA. I didn't know he was married. Like, here's my theory right now that I just came up with. I've thought it out. She had to have known.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think most of those TV situations, it's the whole, she didn't know, then she knows, then she,
what do you
threatens to leave, and he's like, I'm gonna get divorced eventually, and then it's 2 nights a week, and then eventually you get out of there. But like, she was waiting for that carrot, that Buddy Stanfield carrot.
Well, that's why she didn't leave LA. Why would she stick around in LA?
Because that's where the boat is. Oh, do you think that she got the job specifically to be around, to be available?
I mean, that's kind of what I inferred. I mean, she didn't really say. Well, she did say something that she followed him to Los Angeles.
So wherever Julie's from, which we don't know. But here's the thing now.
Yeah.
Last week, we find out that Julie's father is in show business.
Right.
So I guess he could have been in New York.
Or maybe she came back to LA and her dad's there. I mean, there's a lot of weird.
If this show was better, and I thought they were thinking ahead, every episode we get a couple pieces.
We'd have like a board with each name and lines.
This week we have the passenger list, and we have like another piece of Julie's backstory.
Piecing it together.
Little things.
I like it. Turned out to be married. He appears to be traveling alone and wants an advice, and then she kind of just, in a act of comedy, she gives herself her own advice, and then thanks the captain for being such a good listener or something like, for his helpfulness.
We rushed by Stubing saying, "I'm not just a captain.
Oh, God.
I'm a human being." This is why nobody's asking you for advice, Stubing.
Well, it's like, hey, Captain Stubing, just a quick question. Yeah. What's that? Are you a captain or are you a human being?
Well, I mean,
I'm both, Mike.
Whoa. People like you bad mouthing Captain Stubing's captaining. Maybe he isn't a captain. Maybe he's just a human being.
Show me some captaining. From now on, he's human being Meryl Stubing, because I don't see him captaining anything.
So at the end, when Julie's leaving,
yeah,
Isaac's coming in with his injured neck, and Gopher comes in.
Yeah.
And we get the first commercial break, which is a new thing, and I'll be curious to see if it sticks or if it's just for this special episode. They do a freeze frame going into commercial of a wacky shot. And it's just like Isaac holding his neck and Gopher doing one of these.
It was great.
In the back. And then it's like
a Thursday thing. I loved it. I love that whole. I really wish that we were able to, like, the way that we view these. I wish we had the original commercials, just as a also. God, I would love it.
Yeah, but this is like the most. This is this is what I almost think the Love Boat is stuff like that. So yeah,
it hit me with a shot of nostalgia.
Yeah,
that kind of ending, the physical comedy, the womp, that sort of thing. Aside from this is just an orgy of an episode. This is it has some old school Love Boat feeling to a point.
In between just groping.
In between groping and making out, and So Isaac comes to the office talking about, I think Gopher says it's jinxed. He says his neck hurts. Got the neck brace on. A few seconds later, Horace and Henrietta enter the exam room. They want to see if Isaac's okay. Doc says they're fine. Once they're out, Doc's like, ha ha ha, you silly fools. There's no gin, and boom. Although I didn't really understand his injury. Like,
it's objectively funny. It made me actually laugh out loud when he does that door. I did not see it coming.
His glasses are all sideways,
but when the door opened, I did not see it coming. I thought maybe he was going to slip and fall or something like that, and Bolger just plows him with the door.
Hey, he's one-shot Bolger right there.
Basically, it's just that thing where the door hit him flush because he didn't have his hands up. So he only had that little bandage. But
he was selling it when that door closed after the door hit him.
Went down like a cartoon.
He's sliding down the wall. I mean, I started clapping. I was just like,
scene.
Stop it, Bernie Kaufman.
Tremendous scene. Maybe my favorite scene of the whole episode.
If I had to ask him, if I ever get to meet him, I would ask him, like, can you do me a solid? You remember episode 1, episode 7 season? Can you act like you're getting hit with a door? Just come on, do a slide for me, sir.
I mean, Bolger comes in hot with that door.
Oh, he's not messing. He's overacting with everything. He scarecrowed him. Bam, take that. I'm the effing scarecrow. Okay, here's the elevator scene. Here we go. Every time I see the elevator, I think of two things. I think of Sausage King. And that's it. I just think Sausage King. So Julie runs in, and there he is, Buddy Stanfield. And again, nobody else is on the elevator. It's just this creepy dude who
he's been taking the elevator for 3 hours.
We're just waiting. Just what person, when you get an elevator, doesn't even look up? Like, in your peripheral vision, you're going to see the person. Like, how does she think?
Up to something.
Just always something, some shenanigans. Captain gets on the elevator as well, makes some small talk. She changes her voice to sound gravelly. Said, go see Doc. And Captain, she was going to get off when he got off, and he's like, oh, Cap, the doctor's is 1 floor up. Door closes. He says, I know that perfume anywhere. Then shoots her a sultry gaze. Wow. Hi, baby. I'm like, oh, God,
he's just the worst.
This confidence level is just disgusting. Like,
he's awful.
He just doesn't.
Like, no, she should have kicked him in the nuts.
He just has that look like he's not trying to impress anybody. He doesn't care what anybody thinks.
No.
That guy's just a jerk. It's just a cocky. Okay. Ellen Edwards Let's say not glasses. Finds herself assigned to a dinner table, and this couple that's all over each other. I want to go back because I swear that guy looked like Judge Reinhold. That was making out with the girl, but I'm like,
he would have been pretty young. So
yeah, I think I have my timing off on that. But it was
Fast Times is like 5-6 years after this. So
is it? Yeah. What a weird, just the vibe. Like, what director's going? Yeah, we need a couple like for what? What did that have to do with the scene?
But it's like nothing about that ballroom dining room that we've seen has given the, oh my God, I'm so hot. Like for each other. Like go upstairs. This is like getting drunk at a hotel bar, but even easier. Like you're on a boat. Just go. You have multiple rooms.
Like, why are you at dinner?
Right.
You clearly don't want to be at dinner. Just I wouldn't want to sit there and eat. I've never been in that situation before, but
there is a plot that we didn't see going on that this is literally some sort of sex cult.
Something
like booked most of the crew.
Yeah, these guests signed up for like something called Freaknik. Like everything is just crazy on this. Everything.
The only people not getting into it are the McDonald's. Maybe.
Well, maybe they've been. Maybe they're probably the ringleaders. They're like, look, we survived the Titanic. Let's get crazy. I'm the Scarecrow. Okay, here entered Doc, who's wearing the bandage on his head. Wanders over, invites herself to join her. Again, a lot of short jacket in this episode from everybody.
Yeah.
And did you see the glass of cigarettes?
Is that what that was?
It was like a drinking glass full of cigarettes.
Awesome.
And a lighter. And he's a doctor. But but doctors smoked, I'm sure, in the 70s. It wasn't a
Everybody
thing.
smoked in the 70s.
She gets what's weird, that whole word play, like, how do you like your roast beef?
Yeah.
He goes, 2 roast beefs, like it was some fancy like 1950s dinner. I thought that was so weird.
Yep.
Like it's not even on that.
I mean, do they have a varied menu on this boat? I mean,
it's like a wedding. It's probably like beef or chicken.
Yeah. I think they were just trying to get that guy his one line so he could get his SAG card.
And not to be confused with Vince. This is not Vince. Vince is a stunt man. Her watch goes, her aforementioned watch alarm goes off.
Goes off like it's like War of the Worlds or something.
Yeah, exactly. Like air raid signal going off. It's very black, and everyone's the people stop making out. Like everyone's like, what was that?
Subtle, guys.
She says she has to take an allergy pill. Why would you come up with a medical excuse if it's a doctor? Wouldn't you say, "Oh, I have to make an important phone call"?
That's the thing. They did not plan ahead.
There's no.
And they got away with it, so it all worked out. They made it a lot harder on themselves than they needed
to. She rushes back to the cabin, tells Glasses to keep away from Doc by declaring he's mine. We all know what happens next. I mean, it writes itself.
Yeah.
Glasses comes in, sits down, turns her nose up at the rare roast beef, ordering. Do you have a well done end cut? Let me just say, that's sacrilegious. Wait, you're going to order a well done end cut? Are you kidding? Who gets well done roast beef?
Love Boat. It's not Butcher and Singer, like, you know.
But even in the 70s, I would think that. I wonder if the 70s more people. This is going to be a stupid thing. Like, did people eat a lot of rare steaks prepped that way back then?
It's worse for you, right? I just assume anything that was worse for your health, people did it in the 70s.
I think so. But for some reason, my gut tells me like more people got their steaks well done. I wonder if that was like a.
I think next time we go to a steak dinner, we should just get well done end cuts and see what they say.
Or we'll just say, like, look, give it to us how they would eat it in the 70s. So
I would like a well cut or a well done end cut.
Yeah.
And let's fill this glass with some cigarettes.
Yeah, some cigarettes and then 2 glasses of orange juice with a little vodka to kill the taste.
Be careful. Be careful.
Be careful. Oh, don't step on the pool thing. You know, we'd set up an inflatable pool. We wear short jackets. We should get all of our suit jackets and just start cutting them off. Let's do it. Let's commit.
You know what? My wedding suit's too big anyway. I might as well
let's commit to the short jacket movement. SJM. Glasses enters. We talked about that. The rare roast beef. She wanted the well done end cut, and Doc is just thoroughly confused. Confused.
Fair.
Like, huh?
Yeah.
As I would be. He doesn't know what's going on.
And I mean,
again, which is the thing.
So my mom is an identical twin.
Okay.
And my mother-in-law is an identical twin.
Oh, wow.
So they look very similar. I don't know that they would have looked exactly the same.
Right.
But on TV twins, they always look exactly the same. And it's like everything. There's not one distinguishing thing. The glasses is the only thing. Like same hair, same height, same everything. So it's just like Doc. To be fair, Doc doesn't know that this is a television show. You know, he's confused.
No one told him.
Right.
He's completely unaware that.
Aren't you the girl from Soap and Throb?
Poor guy. Doc doesn't care.
No.
Doc is willing to put work in. Yeah. From the second they walked on the ship, he was like, "Yep, that is my quest." What a guy. We are now looking at Julie hanging with Buddy in the lounge. This was the scene where I was just like, this guy's just a jerk.
Yeah.
He had no smile. He didn't even act like he was happy to see Julie or talk to Julie. His expression didn't change, just like surly and shitty the entire time, which was just
plotting. He's already plotting.
All he cared, like he didn't. There's no personality there. The guy's just a jerk.
It is that thing, and I think I probably have it later, but it all applies. Is they didn't give you anything with this guy.
Nothing.
They
There's
didn't
no
give you
not
like
an iota.
not like one like nice thing or good
Common
story
ground.
or something
Yeah.
like that. He was
Mm-mm.
a creep. He acted like a creep to Julie's friends. He didn't necessarily not act like a creep to Julie, and then he was a creep at the end. Like they didn't give him anything to make you. It's the most pure villainous person, except for Jacqueline Smith's husband, that we've had on this show.
Ooh, those guys I bet hang out.
Oh
They're both
yes, they
local.
do.
You
They
know,
probably
they're
work at
both
the
in
same
LA.
firm.
Yeah. Those guys are buddies. And I bet you he's hired that blonde dude before too. What's his name?
Oh my
You know,
god, you're right.
there's some tie-ins.
I bet you Buddy Stanfield's new wife, Dennis Kingston's sister.
Or Dennis Kingston's wife, who didn't really die.
Oh no. That's what
because
he had to do in Puerto Vallarta.
That's it. You know, we were really close.
I love the thought. I'm now focusing on this, that this is a 260 episode diabolically plotted television program, and everything connects, and they've thought about all these little things.
If there's an Easter egg, we're gonna find it. Like there's no way we're gonna miss these little things. She asks, I'm sorry, Buddy asked how her cat was doing. I'm just like, what the? And Julie says, "How's your wife doing?"
That was funny.
That was fun.
That was funny.
I mean, it was clearly a setup, but
yeah. But who names a cat Herb?
Because you know what I mean. That's why.
You think it's Peaches
Blaze.
and
Maybe.
Herb Tarlick.
Herbert. Herb Albert in the Tijuana Brass.
There you go.
That's probably what. That's her
Herb Washington, the pinch runner for the Oakland A's in the 70s.
Herbie Hancock.
There you go. Herbie the Love Bug.
Herbie the Love Bug. I like the Peaches and Herb one kind of. Peaches and Herb made me laugh a little bit. I like that one. If I had to pick out of all of them, I'd go Peaches and Herb.
Who doesn't name their cat Herb in the 70s?
I mean, has to. Or Lester. Like one of those.
Oh, do you think Willie Tyler and Lester are going to be on the Love Boat?
Oh, they have to be.
They have to be, right?
I did see a picture of one Terry Bollea in an episode. Not anytime soon, but I saw it.
Can I just, whenever we have the Willie Tyler and Lester episode, I just want to insert this in there where it's just like, don't throw me overboard. You can't, my wood will rest. Or something.
Don't do it. You can't do it. That's funny. And I wrote here, Julie visibly perks up when he says, I'm not married anymore. And I wrote, Julie might be crazy. And I brought up
that's the shift. In theory, she wasn't being that. She wasn't being that.
She's like he woke her. Yeah. He woke her up. She's like a Manchurian Candidate. Whenever somebody says, "I'm not married anymore," she instantly perks up and looks for an attachment. Poor Julie.
And it's like, why do you want to be married, Julie? Your boat job takes you away 10 days at a stretch.
You get to meet all these cool people.
You're unlikely to ever take a wife.
Look, Julie, you're married to the sea,
right?
And later on, you're going to be married to something else that starts with the letter C. But we're going to get there. What, Julie?
No. So Doc is the first of many to come in and try and C-block this guy, and does a good job. I think Doc is the guy you want in here. He plays the game well. This is a matchup of two creeps, and Buddy Stanfield, much creepier than Doc. So good for you, Doc. But he tries to find out about the family and everything, and Julie kind of shoves him away.
Not completely though.
Not as much as they shove Gopher away later when he tries.
Oh God, they shut him down.
Yeah.
Well, I think too, like game recognizes game, isn't that the same? Like they speak the same language.
There was some of that. It was like in the Royal Rumble when two guys like throw a bunch of guys out and they kind of back into each other. That was kind of like one of those.
It's two good guys. Like what's gonna happen? Yeah. That was a good one. What Buddy suggests they get together for dinner tomorrow night, which again, I do want to bring up another point that we've brought up many times. She's at work.
Yeah.
Or is she? And I say that because I don't even understand sort of the parameters or the working hours of her job. Is she just on duty the duration of the trip? You know what I mean?
It's hard, right? Because you can't be on duty 24 hours. That's insane.
No, but where's the other Julie?
But later on, Dubing kind of gets on her case for paying attention to all the passengers.
You spread yourself out a little more, a
Right.
little.
So my guess is it's like maybe you have responsibilities at like 9 a.m. and then at 1 p.m. and then at 5 p.m.
Oh, I see.
You
So
know
it's
what I
not a
mean?
straight. Because I
Right.
think it'd be like classes, and like she'd be like the guy that runs karaoke, or she's like, we both know someone that runs like a quizzo. Like, is she
Yeah.
like that MC kind of thing, or or is she the organizer of that sort of thing
I
more
think
than
she's the organizer.
yeah, she's not the facilitator, right?
So maybe, but then we also find her like, she got somebody a pillow today or a magazine or something.
Yeah.
Like she is like an errand girl / also booking all the entertainment,
What is that?
also basically TSA.
What is that called? What is that called in a hotel?
Concierge.
Is she like a C concierge? Concierge kind of thing? But
I
it's
guess
like
you
more
have
than
to
that though,
be.
too. She's
Yeah.
front desk. So, well, I don't know if she's because and I
Gopher,
don't want to go
Gopher feels
crazy.
like front desk. Like after
Yeah.
the initial check-in, I feel like Gopher's the main front desk guy.
Well, he was the one with the whole postcards thing. I mean, people were calling
Yeah.
him, "Can you please send up?"
Yeah, I think my guess is you got the captain. I think Doc is underneath, and
Mhm.
I think Julie's over here, and they both report up to Stubing. And I
Yeah,
think Isaac and Gopher report up to Julie. That's my thought.
that makes sense. That makes sense.
That's my org chart for today.
So let me ask you then, Julie
Vince
and
reports
Doc
into
are,
Gopher.
but I feel like Julie and Doc are not on level playing ground. I feel like Doc's like a side. He's not really in the chain of
Right.
command. He's
I
just
don't
like
think
you
they
know,
report to different. They all
yeah.
report to Stubing directly, but they're not on the same path.
Well, does Vince report to Gopher, or would
Yes.
Vince report to Julie?
I think Vince is a Gopher direct report.
Okay.
Because
Which
why would
brings,
Gopher do that to
well, he didn't want to
somebody
get
who wasn't a
jinxed.
subordinate? Yeah.
Yeah. So that brings us to that next scene. Gopher tells Doc and Isaac McDonald's want a bunch of postcards delivered to their cabin. They all agree they want nothing to do with it. Gopher hands the cards to crewman named Vince, gives him the cabin number, and as he stumbles his way up the staircase and drops the postcards, which scatter everywhere, and he falls, and the camera stays with him. They get his whole fall right down to the bottom.
Yeah.
No cuts, just brilliance by stuntman Vince.
And the fact that they gave him no line means he's a stuntman. Like they didn't even.
Because
They
he
weren't paying
speaks in
that
grunts.
second. They
Yeah,
weren't paying
no,
second salary. No.
you're not getting a SAG card, Vince.
Nope. Your Lee Majors like double or something like that.
Yeah, you're not. You're the unknown stuntman.
I didn't look him up because I don't even
didn't
know if he
even
has
know.
anything, but I guarantee you it's all Fall Guy stuff.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Thug number 3, like
What was
those kind of things.
was that Hooper? What was the Burt Reynolds one that he was a stuntman?
You're talking about. It's a great movie.
Yeah.
Is it Hooper, something like that?
That's what I thought it was Hooper. Yeah.
I think it is.
Yeah.
I think it is. Anytime you ask about a Burt Reynolds movie, you know what the first movie that pops in my head is? It's not Smokey and the Bandit.
Cannonball Run.
No. I love that movie so much. White Lightning. You ever see White Lightning?
Is that the one in Florida where?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's a moonshiner and he's having to do all this stuff. Fantastic movie. I love that movie.
He's never shown up on his boat.
No.
Well, I bet you the snowman does though.
I bet you Lonnie Anderson does.
I got a spoiler for you. We're seeing Lonnie Anderson next week.
Oh, fantastic.
So
Is this pre-WKRP, Lonnie? Or when did KRP come on?
No. It's got to be close. I feel like KRP was like 78 maybe.
Makes sense.
So,
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So we're back to Doc. He runs into Helen as she's sunning herself. She runs into No Glasses. How she's sunning herself on like a lounge chair. She asked if she wouldn't mind rubbing sunscreen, but she said some weird like preventative medicine or something, and his eyes lit up like she was talking about drugs.
Let me get you a million drinks.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay. So gets 2 pina coladas. I thought it was weird too. Isaac's like, well, how are we paying for this? And I was like, whoa, we got a moment of reality here. Isaac's about to go, nah, dog.
Yeah.
You got to pay. And he's like, oh, he's gone. He's not, Doc's not paying for
So,
things.
do you think the little bit we know about Isaac and a
Mhm.
lot of bit we know about Doc, do you think Isaac is heavy handing those drinks or light handing those drinks?
It's
Or
funny you say
appropriate?
that. I watched him pour the 2 glasses of orange juice, the one where Ray Bolger wanted the vodka. Half of that glass, there was a little ice in that glass. Half that glass was vodka.
Yeah.
That was undrinkable. And then I also noticed he has no like real bartending skills because he's pouring now he's pouring the juice in each. When he was finished, they weren't at the same level and they weren't even full. And he just throws 2 straws. So that one that he's giving Bolger is good. That dude's gonna be in a coma after he drinks that. I mean, the glass was this, and it was, I mean, literally half full of vodka. So to answer your question, he's just throwing stuff in a
So he
glass.
doesn't even know. Whatever he thinks he's doing
No.
doesn't matter. Yeah.
Yeah, he's just like, no one's watching my hands. Everyone's.
This felt like the most bartending we saw Isaac do in an episode.
Well, it's funny. We didn't hear like a pina colada machine or anything. All of a sudden, he just, whoa, here we go. Here's a cup.
They must
pre-made.
pre-make everything.
Well, I just
Like
wondered because
Baskin Robbins.
when I was on vacation, there was a pool and had a nice bar inside, and they had like a pina colada machine. So the whole time I was thinking, like, I'm waiting, and he hits the machine. It's loud. So I said, have you guys always had that machine? And he said, no, we used to do it with blenders, but they were just as loud. So that just stuck with me. So I'm like, this dude.
Hi, I'm Mike Taylor from the Love Boat Project. I have a question about your pina colada making.
I have a pina colada related question for you, sir. I didn't hear a blender. I didn't hear anything. And you're pulling up these. Stop it. Stop it.
I think we're starting to establish something we probably thought, which is Isaac is not a good bartender.
I didn't know it would happen this soon.
Now you can. It's all in the eye of the
personable.
beholder, right?
Right.
Me as a passenger, if Isaac's a not good bartender, Bolger style, I'm okay with that.
Sure. But for me, that's my worst nightmare. I just want a glass of orange juice. Like,
you don't want anything to kill the taste.
Don't kill the taste. I want it to taste like orange juice. So he'd be my worst. Hey, can I get like an Irish coffee with just a little? No. No. He would be my worst nightmare. But if it's all inclusive, does it really matter? You never see any money change hands between Isaac and anybody.
The all-inclusive thing, they haven't said it.
It's gotta be. All these dinners, and you don't see cash or tips or.
I feel like when they say, the only tip we saw was when Bayo tried to tip with a napkin.
He would too.
I feel like when they say that you pay in advance, that's their 70s lingo of all-inclusive.
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, the wording's a bit different, but I would. Look, I'll say this. I have no desire to go on a cruise, right? I mean, we will for our last episode. I mean, done deal.
Yeah.
But the idea, and I've been to like Jamaica, for a honeymoon all-inclusive. It's fantastic. So, I mean, everything about being on a cruise, if you don't mind being in the water, just all of this sounds great to me. The drinks.
It's the commonality with people, though.
Yeah,
it's like,
that's the thing. Can I get my own private cruise?
Right. Can I get a cruise with like 7 people?
Right. Can we just have our peeps?
It would be a very normal people cruise for you, the cruise line.
No, but like you'd still go through just as much alcohol. Like we'll be all right. Like just stock it up.
That's
Make sure we have cable and a VCR, and we're good to go.
DVD player.
DVD player. That's right.
So if you're one of the 596 other passengers on this boat,
yeah,
and you walk by and your kid's got an ear infection, and you're like, all right, if it still hurts in the morning, we're taking you to the doctor. And then you look over and the doctor is elbows deep,
sunscreen,
in a uniform. Like, at least maybe get in your civvies so I know. Like, I get it, right? Everybody's got to have some time off, but it's like, it's not professional to have the doctor being this horny in public.
Well, this shouldn't be his time off. The time off, like the captain said, hey, after this, I'm going for, whatever is a weekend, blah, 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 blah. You're at work. You're the on-duty doctor at work. And it's not like there's nurses that can handle little things. Maybe that would solve it. Well, no, because Doc would just be all over them too.
You get some real some male nurses maybe would keep Doc at bay.
We just gotta cross fingers that there is never a medical emergency that a wheelchair can't solve.
Right.
Because if not, we're all screwed on this boat.
But it's daytime. Like, I almost don't have a
Right.
problem with Doc at night. Although if there's an emergency.
But again, it's how, it's not just what he's doing, it's the level in which he's doing it. Like it's just like, dude. But Steubing doesn't, like, it's all happening right under Steubing's nose. If he had a problem, it's not like it's hard to see what's going on.
I wonder if they do like a not to bring West Wing up again, but I wonder if they do a West Wing style prequel to kind of explain how Steubing and Doc got together. I feel like those guys probably have known each other for a long time.
Oh, like a Bones Captain Kirk kind of vibe.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's that's an interesting. So he gets the pina coladas. By the time he returns, we got glasses. And she slaps Doc when he starts rubbing lotion on her back.
Yeah.
Doc doesn't know what the hell's going on at this point.
Yeah.
He grabs the untouched pina coladas, brings them back. Did you hear what he said to go for?
Do you want these drinks for cheap or something?
Buy these drinks back real cheap. It's like, no. Here comes Captain Steubing, announcing, the wife. McDonald wanders over, tells Captain Steubing he and his wife want to renew their vows. I never understood the renewing of vows, by the way. Like, I meant to bring this up as a point. I don't, if you get married, right, the vows say until death do you part. Like, when do you need to amend that?
I will say I generally agree with you. But if I had the initial vows on the Titanic,
how are you going to beat
now
that?
I'm on another boat. Again, these guys are probably ghosts or the devil or something like that. So this is some sort of satanic ritual.
They're never alive. They were never alive.
Oh, that's right. They died at the Titanic.
That's right. Like, who are the McDonald's? What are you talking about?
I think I called this a few weeks ago that we were going to have Steubing doing a wedding. So that's one.
You did.
My over-under is 10, and I feel very confident that we're getting one a year.
If we're getting one at 7,
right,
I feel like we're going to have at least 2.
Because somebody on the crew is going to get married. Yeah,
it's always some. We need an emergency. Well, I'm a captain. It's going to be some weird.
Yep.
But again, I think the wedding thing was just so they could shoot Julie in the eye with a champagne cork too.
Okay, so before we get to that, so Steubing, within 3 seconds of hearing about this wedding, turns into like Father of the Bride, like Martin Short and Father of the Bride. He's got plans going all over this deck, this room, this, that.
That's all he cares about, dude.
Do you know like what direction your ship is going in? Like,
he doesn't even know where the steering wheel is, and he's like, "We can hang banners from this one." It shows right there the interaction. He's a paper captain. There's no way he's the real captain. There's some manly man with a full head of hair up in that like bridge
in the crow's nest
area.
Yeah,
and he's steering the ship and driving it. And he's like, "Let Steubing have his thing." But Steubing's he's worried about all the wrong things.
Right.
Like in an emergency.
That's the most excited he's been about anything on this boat.
Oh, he loved he loved remarrying these people. He got all sorts of, you could see he was excited. Short jacket again. Another opportunity for a short jacket.
So Julie gets hit in the eye after tempting fate and saying that. Now, as bad as Isaac pouring drinks is, you do not
everybody
champagne directly at people.
Well, you put your hand over it too, so it doesn't
face the other way.
Yeah, or you're in a boat.
Put it
face it towards face it to the ocean.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
I mean, I will say it was a close range shot right to her face.
Right, you're lucky she's not dead.
I wonder how many episodes she has to wear the eye patch for.
It better not be anymore. That was stupid.
Eye patch is.
You know what? Give Julie the arm sling and give Go for the eye patch. Come on now.
I was laughing so hard at the variety of eye patches. I was texting you this eye patch thing. Here's a black one for the pool. Here's a tan one for dinner.
It was like a Julie punishment episode. I didn't know.
I have goosebumps because I laughed so hard. She had an eye patch that matched her pajamas. like she had a champagne colored eye patch. It's just ridiculous. Like, number one, couldn't she reuse it? Where did she get a variety? You were at sea. Like, so we
Why
can't
do
we
they have
can't
so
get
many
a
eye patches, but not that many
we can't get a
slings?
sling. Yeah, we can't get a sling. We can get a neck brace and a million eye patches in one wheelchair. So
Here's what we got: 38 wheelchairs, 300 eye patches, one curtain,
once,
and a neck brace. That's all we
yeah,
got.
multi-purpose curtain, and I'm sure that neck brace did something else too. Like that was something else complete. It's a big koozie, something for like a magnum of champagne or something. Oh, so ridiculous. God, just and again, more physical comedy. It was
Yeah.
everywhere this episode.
Oh yeah, because like that button, we might as well just call these out. So that button on the commercial is everyone's panicked that Julie's dead.
Yeah.
Doc runs over and starts to chat, like, and
Doc
then
starts giving her mouth to mouth, and just something ridiculous. Doc, man. Fast forward. This is the visual in the lounge. Julie with her new eye patch. Why wouldn't you stay home? You took a cord like 2 inches from your eye right to your eye. You don't feel like going out.
she's got things to do.
Oh, that's true. So she's dancing with jerk off buddy as Gopher and Isaac glare and agree there's something about the guy they don't like, which is kind of a stupid statement considering she didn't spill the beans to them.
No,
She spilled the beans to Doc and Cass.
They
So
don't.
This is just a loyalty thing here.
So I think it's loyalty. I think it's the guy sucks. I also think because they're all about the same age, you got to think Gopher and Isaac
a little bit of something.
At the least have a small crush on Julie or a friend crush or something like that. So I think that's probably a little bit of that too.
Interesting. This is where something you brought up. So Steuben cuts in and asks why she's spending so much of her time with him. He knows why, which was just an orders her
way of
passive
aggressively,
And then the thing that it just left me with more questions than answers was orders her to spread herself among the rest of the passengers more. And I wrote, what the hell is her job? We did talk about it. To be
okay.
Just
so
available.
We've seen enough episodes now where she's done everything from, going to get people things.
Got the choker without the neck size. Yeah.
to being a sympathetic ear.
Fair enough.
Things like that. So I almost think she's like the face of the boat, except Steuben clearly tries to be the face of the boat. So, but I do understand his point in that to what we're saying, you can't.
You're at work.
Right. Yeah.
Like it's simple. Do your job, Miss McCoy.
Yeah. Spread it around.
Like that's when I'm talking to I'm trying to get her right the ship. I call her Miss McCoy.
But again, this was more Steuben captainly. He had a stretch here where he did good.
Yeah, I like it. There's something feels good about it because it's like, but they really jam it down your throat. How he's like, like you said, his line, I'm also a human. Like they try to add this layer. He's a captain, but he's also that.
He should have been. It's funny, like this version of the character, which is also probably the first episode version of the character, should have been a much older person.
You know what? I agree. I completely agree.
Where he's like,
you got to have somebody
where he's almost above the fray.
Well, he's seen it all,
right?
And he's not going to try to accost John Ritter dressed as a redhead. Like he's going to be over that kind of behavior.
Yeah, the captain. It's almost like he should have been like Wilford Brimley or something.
The only thing is I don't think Wilford Brimley is going to put up with Doc's crap. Like I think, you know what I mean? And then it kind of changes that dynamic.
Maybe you don't have them. Maybe you don't really have the captain in the show. Maybe the captain is just like a voice, like Dr. Claw.
Like Charlie.
Yeah, that was a big thing in the 70s.
Yeah. Yeah, because you could have him calling from the bridge or who knows.
Right. Just make the announcements.
Okay, not glasses. Invites Doc for a drink. He's just confused all to hell. Complains about mixed messages. She gives him a kiss and assures him he's making this cruise very enjoyable, which is so weird. Her bar's so low. And here we go. Here goes the alarm.
But right away, she just came outside.
What did he launch, like a 6-minute alarm?
Like, hey, roll it back a couple hours. I'll trade you a couple hours tomorrow. I'm going
Well,
to
they
go
never
pound on this medical
define,
professional.
like, they never define, like, the period of time in which they
It's
had.
the
Which
worst
is
time.
just
That's when the buzzer goes off. The worst
as soon
time.
as she leaves the room, it goes off.
Yeah.
Like, what is this? You guys are making this way more difficult. Just, like, don't make it for 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Bunch of dummies. What are you doing? And it was a weird scene because he just rushes off. Doc said that was weird. And that was the whole scene. I'm just like, all right, bro. We're scraping the barrel with these guest stars.
We have 4 actors in this thing. They got
It's just okay, Julie, another eye patch, hanging with Buddy by the pool, black eye patch.
Just blatant disregarding of Steubing's orders.
Right.
Like, this is what, the next morning?
And they were just it's like one in one ear, out the other.
She doesn't care.
No.
She should be in the brig.
Or something. You defied an order. I mean, you know, it was weird that she just went right back to it. But
right back, even more overtly than before.
It's just
would have been great if they'd had a scene where it was like somebody asks for, like, do you have cough drops? Get out of here, kid.
Yeah, I'm busy with Buddy. Get out of here. Yeah, that guy's just there could be someone drowning behind him and he's not going to care. Just but of course they gave him, like,
did we need the sexy Buddy Stanfield
out of the pool?
shot?
I was just going to say that. Like, get back in the pool. Have a, you know, oh, stupid. Anyway, she asks him if they're spending so much time together for old time's sake, but smooth ass Buddy says he assures her it's for new time's sake. Oh. And if you can pull off a big deal,
I think that probably confirms that they're hooking up after hours. So Buddy is just stringing her along for the boat ride.
I mean, yeah. Look, it's as soon as his cruise is over, he's leaving this boat. I mean, he's not, like, you must have forgot.
He's literally stringing her along. Like,
the van's outside waiting. Like, I'm just going to hop in that van and I'm going to be gone.
His wife comes to pick her up. Like,
yeah, that was weird. And then I didn't get that. Well, we'll get to that, but that was weird.
I have thoughts too.
Something about he's going to pull off this big deal in Puerto Vallarta.
Which again, just the vaguest of vagues is, okay, so here's a question for you. Is
selling cocaine?
It's got to be. So he's a cartel lawyer. He's Better Call Saul, I think. So here's my question. Is this vagary storyline or the Wimbledon tennis injury the worst vague
storyline? I got to go Wimbledon. That was ridiculous.
I think so too. But this isn't the same vein. Like, I don't need a lot. Just give me something. A land deal. Like, something. Like, they don't.
If you only have 4 guest stars, you can't come up with a plot point for one of them?
I don't even need.
That's 25% of the guest stars.
I don't need details. It was like, I got a big real estate deal in Puerto Vallarta. That's it.
Anything.
Yeah.
I'm finalizing a sale of just give me anything.
I have to bury Barbara.
He's full. He's just meeting some chick in Puerto Vallarta. Like, that guy, this stupid bathing suit. But he did say it would change their lives. He says while he doesn't want to rush into anything, there's something specific he wants to ask her tomorrow night. And this
ended up being not specific at all.
Which is so. Years ago, my wife and I were at Butcher and Singer restaurant in Philadelphia on Valentine's Day, and unbeknownst to me, she thought I was going to propose that night. But I wasn't.
Right.
So the night was full of, hey, let me ask you something. I remember I got out of my chair to retie my shoe, and she was just like, so the whole night she thought it just like this, like, oh, this whole thing, there's nothing happening. I was too full of cream spinach and stuffed hash browns.
Delicious full steak. Plus, you probably had like that cream spinach
spinach, stuffed hash brown, filet. Yeah, there's no. Steak martini, like all that stuff.
I'm tagging Butcher and Singer in all these clips, see if we can get some free food.
Oh, please do. Please do. Yeah, something specific. And again, what the hell was he asking her?
I mean, we're looking at the ultimately question, nothing.
It was just like, do you want to move into this? I think the same thing?
It took them a long time to actually like explain it, and but ultimately he wants it to go back to the way things were. He's got a new wife, so he probably just needs to put Julie up in a spot where she doesn't find out about this wife. That's probably what he's asking.
Probably instead of like, Saturday, Sunday, they hang out Tuesday, Thursday. But obviously Julie was either she's completely oblivious or she's crazy enough to deal with it for a certain amount of time. So,
well, we'll get to the end because I have a lot of questions about the resolution of this stupid storyline.
So he gives her a smooch and leaves, and Isaac and Gopher wander over to stare disapprovingly. As she leaves, Isaac tells Gopher there's no way this guy is proposing.
Nope.
Again, suddenly Isaac is the insight on love, but we
maybe
know
who
he's
those
not.
Who can't do teach.
It's got to be something like that, or he's just.
I mean, to be fair, up until this episode, Isaac was the only one who we had confirmed had gotten some action.
You're right. I mean, if you count Steubing and Stacy, past tense, but
no, past tense doesn't count. I'm talking about on boat action.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
For the crew, Isaac.
So far, he's still the only one verified at this point.
Not after this episode.
No, but as at this point in the episode.
Yeah.
Or do you think Julie and this guy have already?
I'm assuming Julie and this guy hooked up.
Probably in that same linen closet where John Ritter hid his red wig. Doc and
Julie, do you have protection? Eye patch.
She's got like 6 of them for different outfits under there. So dumb. Doc and non-glasses are in mid-smooch, and Glasses is waiting for them to finish. You can see her behind the door. The thing goes off. She says to hurry up. Tells Doc she has to leave. Good Lord.
But like, what is Glasses doing at 9 o'clock that she has to get out there? Well, everything they're indicating is she's a real square.
Like, and I noticed she was reading. Like, why is she just not reading? But they made the statement, I'm going to find a man where you get a tan.
Right.
The word while is not happening.
Or moonlight.
Like, interchanging. Like, while you get a tan, I'll be in the room. And then when you go get a man, I'll be in the room. Like, it's not accurate.
The other thing, too, it's a big boat. And security is, let's call it, lax, as we've established.
Opposite sides of the boat.
That's what I'm saying. Just, let's have a little bit of a coordination, but ultimately, we don't have to do this plan.
Well, how did they eat?
Well, that kind of happened at dinner. She said, bring me back a doggy bag that one time.
I mean, was that every meal? Everyone thinks she's this.
They did not plan well.
It's not. It was lazy. It was lazy.
The fact that they got away with it is more condemning of Steubing's boat than anything. So.
Yeah, the non-security officer. There's nobody. Why wouldn't there be a head of security? Like character. Like Ron, head of security.
Just, again, like I said a couple weeks ago, just give us somebody and then tape a bunch of reaction shots and throw it in every element.
Exactly. We're not asking for a lot.
The threat of Ron.
Right. The threat of Ron. Exactly. Yeah. Don't make me call Ron. Oh.
Yeah, exactly.
And the weird, so now Glasses comes out. Doc's like, where are you going? Pulls her towards him, moans about how crazy he is about her, and then forces himself on her, like smooching her. She's fighting it, and then she's like, I can't fight this anymore. Like, what is he dipped his lips in? Like, what is he?
So
is he a propofol on there? Like, what is he doing to these people?
So here's the thing, right? It's creepy because we know these are two different people.
Yeah.
But is Doc absolved from any real blame here because he doesn't know?
Oh, wow.
In the 70s, clearly yes.
I think in the 70s, clearly yes.
Yeah. Is he just an innocent dupe in this whole plot?
I don't want to say he is because of who he is.
Right.
But I kind of think he is. Because even in the end, he still didn't get it.
Or he's playing it real cool.
Well, he's talking about, vitamin shots and all this other thing. He's just like, good. He's probably thinking he hit the lottery with this.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do think I want to paint him with that scumbag brush, but he didn't. He had no idea.
He didn't know.
So you can't really put that on him. I can put it on him, the fact that he pretty much, forced himself on some of these
Yes.
people. Like that was a little
Yeah, the methods are absolutely terrible. I think
brutal.
the overall, he did not know that he was hooking up with two twin sisters.
Well, imagine a little kid watching this in 77, like, oh, that's what you do. You just smooch on someone till they ultimately give in and enjoy it. Like, don't let go until it was just weird. It was just it just made me feel uncomfortable. It was like Doc when he picked up Julie. I just got very uncomfortable.
Yeah. Well, again, this whole episode is just
Weird, man.
they've been stranded at sea for 30 years apparently.
Glasses comes back in the room, tells Helen she's fallen, tells non-glasses she's fallen for Doc. They brought out that the only argument they ever had, what was it? It was over like a
Roller
toy,
skates.
roller skates. So then none of them got the roller skates. So they're like, we're going to let them down. And the one non-glass is like, I'll let them down easy tomorrow. Okay. Because their friendship and sisterhood is stronger. Okay, great. Isaac, neck brace with a bow tie. I loved it. He reminded me of Joel Gertner. I don't know if you're familiar with Joel Gertner.
ECW.
Yeah, he used to wear that gimmick too. So it's Isaac with a neck brace, Gopher with a sling, Doc with a bandage, and Julie with an eye patch, different eye patch, are singing at the McDonald's wedding ceremony.
So,
what is going on, dude?
So the McDonald's probably planned this wedding, but maybe it was spur of the moment. Anyway,
Why wouldn't they say it when they first got on board too?
It's like, hi, me and my fiance, we're thinking about getting married on your boat. What do you have in terms of ceremony entertainment?
Here's the
we
package
have
we
the
can
doctor
offer.
and the bartender singing for you. Does anybody have a radio?
Again, everyone's at work. Everybody's at work. What do you need a bartender to sing? You're on a cruise ship.
Just does somebody have a horn? The Titanic had like
How about a
300
DJ?
violinists. Like,
How about a
why
DJ?
is there no one on this boat that can play a harmonica?
Where's the
Or
band?
spoons or something.
We see the band every night. Where's
That's
the
a good
band?
point. Where's the band? That's too early, probably.
Or they're on that. Remember, he said, "Oh, the reception's on that deck upstairs for the sun." I
right.
bet you they're up there. But at the same time,
They're on Jabba's sail barge.
you can't get someone to come down and
That was
do a little ditty.
That was just
Weird.
the McDonald's are not getting their money's worth on that wedding ceremony with those four singing.
He's just waiting for his next opportunity to outact anyone else in the scene because he's the scarecrow. Douchebag. Here we go. Captain Reed declares the old couple, husband and wife. They head to the hallway to get pictures taken. Isaac go for Doc and Julie, attempt to move the layer cake. Uh-oh. Trellis tops over, causes Isaac to dive face first into the wedding cake. Womp womp. More physical comedy.
Julie just takes a big old lick off Isaac with that cake. But so Steubing yesterday absolutely knows where this wedding ceremony needs to be, absolutely knows where the reception needs to be. Plan.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little sunny outside, so he makes everybody move all the crap to the
We're going to move everybody out.
Yeah,
maybe he had another one. Maybe he had another one coming in.
Oh, he's just moving weddings now?
Just move, and the crew's going to sing again. It's second verse, same as the first kind of thing.
Here's the thing. Is it nice? It's a boat. Go outside. Eat the cake inside. Done.
It just felt like it was like a kid thing. Like when your mom, when you were a kid, says, go play outside. You were like, well, I want to come in, like, go play outside. Like, get out of here now.
I'm not getting married on that boat.
No one should get married on a boat or have a reception on a freshwater boat under zero circumstances. At least these people, I bet you there were chairs on this reception. There was salt water. They were outside. There was a place to sit, and I bet you they had water and glasses for them to drink. That's some inside baseball right there. All right. So not glasses drops by Doc's office to break up and let him down, but then he can't stop kissing her again, and she's powerless.
This was a little more uncomfortable.
And then she turns out the light. She was just trying to talk to him, but Doc is all horned up and he can't stop himself apparently. And Julie and Buddy, this is the one that bothered me the most. I'm going to be honest with you. The entire episode, Julie and Buddy are walking in the evening. It seems kind of late, and he suddenly presses her up against a wall and says, "I want you for my very own." And I'm writing, Julie's at work, dude.
Yeah.
Again, she's at work. He suggests they get a penthouse in LA and promises that the arrangement won't be as fraught with deception. And Julie squeals, "I love you."
I mean, it's a
But
good place to start. You know,
well,
I'm
he's
not
like,
going to lie to you nearly as much as I lied to you the first time.
but I don't even know what he's asking her. He says he
No.
urges her to think carefully about his
Yeah.
non-proposal. What do
Yeah.
you
That
what are you
was weird
proposing?
because not only did I not give you a real proposal, but I'm giving you extra time to consider it. So
Extra time for you to think about the words that I didn't add into the because it's not a proposal. What are you
yeah,
asking? But that's
yeah.
why I don't understand what she called. She's like, "Were you at?"
Well,
She knows that's not what he was asking because he
maybe
didn't
Buddy's
say it.
getting rusty. You
There's
know?
no ring. There was no anything.
Yeah. Here's what I know. I've only proposed once,
Mhm,
and it was accepted.
mhm.
But I feel like one of the important things about a marriage proposal is that the person you're proposing to knows that it's a proposal and doesn't have to ask later if that was in fact a marriage proposal.
Hmm.
That's just me. Maybe I'm old fashioned, but
No, no, I see what you're saying too. I because I think it goes deeper on this because this buddy guy, number one, there's no wedding ring, right? He gets on the ship without a wedding ring.
well,
So
I
to
didn't
me,
know.
huh? What's that?
He's got like 14 wedding rings in that.
Oh, he's never wearing his, like I'm just saying he obviously knew he knew Julie was on the ship. The whole thing, there was nothing in Puerto Vallarta. He's full of crap.
Oh wow, you think this was all a Julie trap?
Yes,
Yeah, I
yes.
think she
He
called
had
an
a good
audible.
he knew she was on the ship. He didn't have his wedding ring. He just got married. He just wanted to get it set up. Who goes who okay, if you need a couple days off before you go to a meeting, you go on a cruise ship to go to a big stop it.
It is an odd choice.
Like this is just lazy.
So he's already running around on the wife that he's had for 2
Right, for
months
2 months.
in this elaborate plan.
I didn't think that scene was necessary, by the way, with the wife thing. I didn't think it I thought it just was like spoon feeding. I thought it was completely ridiculous because of what he was offering. We could read between the lines.
Well, it's okay. So we can just lump all this together.
Yeah,
So
let's just
Julie calls the same night when she's thinking about it and has a
right.
blunt question and basically says, "Was that a marriage proposal?" And he's like, "I don't want to make the same mistake I made before, baby."
She's like, "I don't either." But
Yeah, and
he's not saying
starts
anything.
she cries into that eye patch, which has to be just gross. So then the
Didn't match her
next
peaches.
morning,
Yeah.
so this is where it gets confusing.
Okay.
So the next morning, she comes downstairs. Gopher grabs her,
Mhm.
is kind of like, "Hey, did he propose?" And she says yes, and that I haven't decided, but
Haven't
this could be
given him
my
an answer
last
yet.
cruise.
Yeah. I saw
Okay,
that again today. It's so
so
weird.
so that's where she leaves. Then
That's after the phone
then
call, right?
is that what it was?
Yeah, it was post phone call. This was the
Oh yeah,
next
sorry,
day.
sorry.
Yeah.
So he
Okay.
leaves. Where I thought to go talk to Buddy.
Right.
Who knows?
So
They
did I.
never actually explain it.
Mm-mm.
So then Isaac comes downstairs. They're chatting. This blonde shows up. Turns
Yeah.
out she is the new Mrs. Buddy Stanfield. They've been married for a couple months. She splits.
You
So now
never see
Isaac
her
and
again.
Gopher have this information.
Right.
Julie comes back and immediately tells Gopher that she lied to him and that the proposal wasn't what she wanted and she turned him down. There wasn't enough time for her to go turn him down
Mm-mm.
during that, which
No.
means he shot him down last night. So then you lied to Gopher pretty definitively,
But for no what was the
and then
purpose?
came back in 2 minutes. That was
Well,
weird.
even if maybe if she had framed it like, "Look, I wasn't being honest with you. It's really difficult. This is kind of what happened." But like if she's gonna be an oversharer, then you have to be a consistent oversharer
Right.
in the sense that she would share the fact that I wasn't being honest. This is what happened. Because she was willing to say all this, she's explaining that since he wasn't willing to offer her like all this stuff and like so 2 seconds ago your filter wouldn't let you say this, but now
But like what's
okay.
wrong with
Crazy, dude. That's what it is.
well, and the other thing I have a problem with this is
Yeah.
good for Isaac and Gopher not telling her.
Yeah, maybe.
Better people than me, I guess.
I would
But
have said something. Yeah.
Buddy Stanfield villain,
Big time
gets
villain, dude.
0 on-screen comeuppance of any kind.
You just never see him again.
You never see him again. He doesn't get like hit with a cake or thrown overboard,
No, nothing.
or slapped, or have a drink thrown at him, or anything.
Or it's not even like
even Jacqueline Smith's husband basically got told off.
Yeah.
This guy skates. He skates.
I think
Julie kind of makes the right decision for the right reason, but not based in this great victory like they're trying to make it.
Well, she made a decision, but it wasn't based on all the information that was sort of available.
Right.
To me, the best way to wrap it up would have been her sad, Julie looking, and seeing him get off the boat and like some woman getting out of a cab and like giving him a smooch.
The best one would have been Julie doesn't make that phone call.
Mm-hmm.
The next morning, she's beaming with her clipboard, and the blonde woman shows up and asks her.
Oh, yeah.
And then
Julie
she goes to Buddy and says, I have your answer, and, drop kicks him or something like that. That's how you do it. This was poor. It made everybody look bad.
Well, it's funny because they didn't let him off the hook, but they didn't fully have him on the hook based on, you know what I mean? So it was sort of
all that happened to Buddy at the end was he was a creep. We already knew that.
Oh, it turns out he's married to some blonde lady. Yeah. Okay.
No, that was bad. He should have gotten some. You know what should have happened? You could have tied the McDonald's into it. Something bad could have happened to him, and it could have done the Jinx move, but he would have gotten his comeuppance, and then Julie could have laughed or something like that.
And it could have been something stupid too.
Yeah,
in this land of physical comedy.
Yeah.
What if the Steubing thing happened to him instead of Steubing?
Sure.
Anything.
Or what if the Steubing boat pulls away, Steubing falls in, and then the boat propeller chops up Buddy Stanfield?
Totally fine with it. Person. Yeah, but Julie would just go in there and grab the pieces out of the water. Like, she's crazy. Like, she's nuts.
Hey, ABC, you want to compete with the Godfather saga? Chop up Buddy Stanfield in a boat propeller.
Well, I just wonder. I mean, they're competing with James at 15. I mean, you really need to bring your best stuff if you're competing with James at 15. So Doc, we're at the end here. Doc bids Non-Glasses adieu. She kisses him, gives him her work number, and Glasses comes out, kisses him, gives him her work number. We could see this coming. We knew it was going to happen. And it's so funny to see paper phone numbers, because I always see now like people
on giant pieces of paper.
Yeah, and huge pieces of paper. On like, they were probably on prescription pad or something crazy.
They stole it out of his office when they were
Can you sign these 15 prescription blank ones for me? Yeah. And he's waving it around like I found the perfect woman and blah, 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 blah. Oh, they drop in the water and flow. Of course.
I remember getting phone numbers on paper. I'm old enough for that. You put that stuff in your pocket or your wallet immediately.
Oh, absolutely. You put that away.
Yeah.
There was no storage system back in the day. There was no.
I certainly am not doing this on a boat deck. So.
He's just tempting fate.
Especially at the end of an episode. Like, something's going to happen.
You knew there's only a couple minutes left. Like Lady Wind was like, not on my watch. And I put
I'm the fifth character, the Wind.
Lady Wind. I put on, it's probably, Doc can't maintain. Doc's going to have a heart attack by episode 10 if he keeps this up. So.
Oh, I mean, he's lucky he got out of that night alive.
All right. We're at that last scene right now. And this is a doozy of a last scene. Steubing announces, and I thought his announcement was very specific. I have people that work for me, and I don't go, hey, I'm going away this weekend. I'm taking this car. I'm driving on this road, and this dog is going with, like, settle down there, Captain Steubing.
It was interesting to bring up the weekend, though, because it made me think, if we're still going with the 10-day cruise idea,
right?
Then do you basically get the 4 days off and then start over again at the beginning of the week? That would make sense.
I think you'd have to.
Yeah.
So 10 on, 4 off.
Yeah, and you get a nice long weekend. I think that makes sense. Yeah. Like every other Tuesday, the ship goes out.
Well, on this ship, you do whatever the hell. There's no work being done on this ship. Isaac's pouring terrible drinks and falling down multiple times. Like, nobody's doing anything on this ship. The only person doing anything was Vince. Vince is the ultimate Barry Horowitz guy. He's working. He says, I'm going to spend the weekend on his rich friend's yacht. And he's like, that boat right there, which is so weird. He compliments their professionalism. Let's review. Doc's borderline aggressive romancing of twin passengers. Julie with the super inappropriate interactions with this guy all over the boat. Professionalism?
Yeah. This was by far their least professional trip.
Yeah. Isaac doesn't know how to take a bump in a pool without hurting his neck. I've never jumped into a pool.
He shot Julie with a cork.
Yeah, shot Julie with a cork. Isaac is questionable. If he's a hitman, he's being professional. So
yeah.
He makes fun. He gets on Gopher for spreading the whole Jinx myth. He's leaving. Here's stupid Horace and Henrietta again. They appear and they say they really, really want to say goodbye to Captain Steubing. Here we go. Here's our last Scarecrow scene, and he's yelling, "Yoo-hoo, Captain Steubing," in his best Scarecrow voice. Captain whirls around and plunges into the water as the boat he was in the process of boarding pulls away. That's not a jinx. That's just bad.
Look where you're going.
Boat craftsmanship. Like the guy left before he.
I would do.
Yeah, but why would the boat pull off before he even steps off? It wasn't a misstep. The boat wasn't there.
Well, the boat was assuming the guy was going to get on.
That's true. Do you make that assumption though?
No, I wouldn't.
I wouldn't either.
And why were there still passengers on the boat, but the captain's off of it?
Just hanging around. Just hanging around. It's all a bunch of potential stowaways.
Nowhere to be.
Yeah, nowhere to be. Nobody's in a hurry to get off the boat. And that is a doozy of an episode.
A wild episode 7.
It's funny that I thought that our discussion about this episode, because it's sort of like a book club, I've kind of equated this to. I did not think the discussion would take this long. Now, I am by no means a clock watcher.
Yeah.
I just felt with 4 guest stars and the true just ridiculousness of this episode, but maybe that leads to longer conversation.
It does, because I think there's a lot of like scenarios that come up that aren't necessarily plot related, but it's not. Well, this leads to it. This is not a good episode. I mean, this is a nonsense episode. It's fun and everything, but it screams credulity. So.
I'm just going to chalk this up as a Thursday night episode, and we're just going to get back to Saturdays and right the ship, literally.
And I think we had said this the other night or a couple weeks ago with episode 5, where that was such a high level, and we kind of thought, oh, maybe this is it. That's a peak, like that level of nuance and stuff, and that's okay. Not every episode has to be like that, and every now and then an episode like this is fun. It was fun.
It was fun. It moved.
Think for me, who didn't hate Ray Bolger the way you hate Ray Bolger, the Julie episode pissed me. The Julie part pissed me off.
I'm with you.
But like generally, I could deal with the other stuff as a fun lark. But no debate for me. Episode 5 is still the leader.
Absolutely, without it, there's nothing's coming close. And I wonder if it's going to be like this for the remainder. Like a lot of, there was 2 good ones and then there's a miss. 2 good ones. I just wonder. In the end, at the end of the day, out of the project, what's the ratio of good episodes to not bad?
It will be interesting because they've really been all over the map.
And then we're just getting started. I would imagine it's going to be more than that. Yeah. It's going to be more than that.
Yeah.
Or more of that, I should say.
Captain of the Week.
Wow. I can see this in a couple different directions. I think the obvious choice is Doc. Because of the physical toll this episode took on him. Both getting hit in the head, taking that ridiculous cartoony pratfall where he slid down the wall. And the fact that those women tried to kill him and he didn't even know it. I gotta go with Doc this week.
Yeah.
I would say Julie, but I felt bad for Julie, so I can't.
Oh, I think this is Julie's worst episode.
Yeah, I was
not a fan of that this week. So I almost actually went Steubing because I did think he was being very captainly for a while. But the combination of moving the reception to the deck and then that fall at the end took me off of him.
Those were the things that took you off. The moving of the reception. You were like, nope.
Yeah. I respect
it. I respect that.
It's a low bar. I guess it's a low bar for Steubing so far.
Well, we aren't talking about 45.
I definitely had Doc on the list for everything you said. And
it's easy. It's easy to
generally
go with Doc.
With not being as creepy. which again, low bar.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But for me, it's Ray Bolger.
Are you kidding?
I swear to God, I have it
Are
written
you
down.
messing with me?
I really enjoyed the acting styles of
Oh,
Ray Bolger.
yeah, because
And maybe that is nostalgia from The Wizard of Oz, but I really enjoyed
he might as well had Scarecrow makeup on. He was nothing but Scarecrow the whole time. It's just...
I just think it was great, and it was Ray Bolger looking out for Ray Bolger.
Ray Bolger looking out for Ray. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. He's not putting anybody over on this episode.
Walk the plank. I feel like we're going. Well, maybe not you. Walk the plank for me is Buddy Stanfield. I hate Buddy Stanfield. He can die in a propeller accident. So
I will say this: as much as I do hate the Scarecrow, it's Buddy.
Yeah.
There's no he can't do that to Julie.
Yeah.
You know,
easily, because I think
hateable.
ultimately worse villain because he didn't get his comeuppance.
Well, there's no endearing qualities. They didn't try to have you like sympathize with him in any way. Like even from his facial expressions, he was just consistently a jerk.
So I'll be curious to see if anybody else gets on the Buddy Stanfield, Jacqueline Smith's husband list.
I would love if they had some sort of like mythology, like where it all sort of the dots are connected.
Because like we have villains, right, that aren't actual villains, like Milton Berle,
right,
or those olds. Like, but they're not actual villains, and they at least gave them a bit of a moment. These guys are pure villains, so
yeah, this guy is Milton Berle is not a villain compared to this guy.
No,
because Milton Berle saw the light. There is no this guy's not seeing any light.
And this guy would have been a villain if he was doing it to just a fellow guest cast. But the fact that they ruined Julie in this episode.
Let me say this. You said Ray Bolger might be the devil, right?
Yeah.
What about this guy Buddy being the devil?
Maybe they were in cahoots?
Maybe it was like a seven deadly. Yeah, I don't something.
Because the wave scene this week, they were all on it. It was a much wider shot.
I did see that.
So maybe they're in cahoots.
Something.
How about that? It's like it's a coven.
We're just getting deeper and deeper. We're investigating the investigators at this point. It's fantastic. So that is episode 7. Let me just say real quick, just where you can reach us. We'd love to hear from you. Email us, loveboatpodcast@gmail.com. You can find us on YouTube, Loveboat Podcast. You smash that like and subscribe button. I've always wanted to say that. We are now on Instagram. What is that? @Loveboat Project. Is that correct?
Yeah, sounds right.
We're also on Twitter, or X, as it says on my phone now, @Loveboat Project. And then, does your app have an X on it now? Does it? It
does, but I'm not observing that. So,
does he want it to be called Twitter, or does he want it to be called X? I know that his headquarters has an X.
Yeah, no, it's Twitter.
Okay.
I made my bones on Twitter.
I know.
I my bones on X.
Yeah, I don't know what he's. And then also we have a Facebook group. New episodes every other Monday. Anything we missed, Mike?
I think that's it.
All right. Well, until next time, I am Mike, and this is my co-host, Mike.
It's easier that way.
And the project just keeps continuing. We'll see you next time for episode number 8.